Each year, thousands of children in Edo State fail to return to school due to financial constraints. This is not because of their own making, but because they are victims of poverty. These children are from backgrounds that cannot meet basic needs. The cost of education in Nigeria is a challenge for the majority. In addition to tuition fees, parents are expected to cater for other expenses such as school uniform, textbooks, among other fees, hence the need for financial support. And this is where the Dr. Solomon Ehigiator Arase Foundation and the Mercy Igbe-Arase Foundation came to the rescue. Deriving inspiration, encouragement and passion from his late mom, Mrs. Mercy Igbe-Arase, to help the needy, Dr. Solomon Arase established the Mary Igbe-Arase Scholarship Foundation for those indigenous students in Owan West and Owan East, where his late mom hails from.
When my mother died about 17 years ago, before she died, she encouraged me to say, look, Solomon, you know what? It is because you went to school. That is why you think you are lucky. You know, there are a lot of people on the streets who, you know, are maybe even brighter than you, but they don't have the opportunity that you have. So anything you can do that to touch the lives of, you know, the boys, the men, and the boys and the girls in our community, say please do it. It doesn't cost you anything anyway. And she left her assets for me in my care. I was only her own surviving son. So when I looked at the assets and I remember what she told me and said I should do a foundation to train people from our area, that's Owan East and Owan West. I said, okay, let me try and see if I can start it. With the guidance of my uncle, who was a professor, we incorporated it.
Past studies have shown that the correlation between poverty and crime, being a foremost intelligence security officer, Dr. Solomon Arase believes that he who opens the school door closes a prison. This has been the underlying principle that Solomon Arase sought to identify and to sponsor the indigent students. He believes no child is dull, but that all that was needed is a conducive environment.
We just came to the realization, myself and my family, that no child is dull. All they need is just an environment to blossom. If your parents have a job, we expect they should be able to pay your school fees, especially if you're a government school. We raised the bar. We now said the GPA, the minimum GPA we will accept through your career, listing will be 3.0, which means 2-1. Now, these young men and women, they started struggling to keep it, because every year before you get your check, you have to show us evidence that you are still within that GPA. Though there were one or two these things which we could overlook, but we maintain our standards, and our scholars became, the high flyers.
Commencing with about 5 beneficiaries, the list of beneficiaries from the Mercy Igbe-Arase Scholarship Foundation rose to 50, and the challenge of sustainability wasn't an issue due to what can be described as an ingenuity of Dr. Solomon Arase in the administration of the foundation.
The first set of graduates we brought in 2013, 2014 session, there were just 5 of them. I think 3 medical doctors and 2 law students. And as at February this year, 9 years of the program, we've been able to have about 50 university graduates in the system.
Particularly among the beneficiaries is the thrilling story of the daughter of a security guard to Solomon Arase, who's currently studying economics at the Ambrosely University, Ekpoma. She's from Castina.
I have a guard, an illiterate man, I employed from Castina to take care of my accommodation in Benin. And along the line, the daughter, met my wife on one occasion when we went to Benin and complained that she was going back to Casina to get married. And my wife looked at her. This girl was just about 15 or 16 years old. So my wife said, how can you go and get married at this age? What of your school? We put you in primary school. Well, he said, well, that was the agreement. So we called the father and the mother, and they said yes, that was the agreement. So my wife said, can we have the phone number of the man who she's going to get married to in Katsina? And they gave us the number, and my wife called the man and appealed to the man that, yes, we cannot stop you from marrying her, but can you allow us to train her? And the man graciously agreed. So we took her into Greater Tomorrow in Benin, put her in the boarding house, and insisted that on no account should anybody take her away from the school except they get, clearance from me. Then I was commissioner of police in Akwa Ibom. And when this girl finished, she came out top grades in her WAEC, this thing. She passed her JAMB. So it was easy for us to just put her into the university in Ekpoma, to read economics. But for this crisis, she would have graduated by now. And the younger sister too, that one is also in College of Education in Asaba, doing very well. The younger brother too, first class brain. That one is, I think he's writing his, he'll be writing his WAEC. I just paid for his WAEC fees last week. He'll be writing his WAEC next week.
Mr. Bolu Etete corroborated the above.
He has trained a lot of indigent students to the university level. Let me tell you why I'm attracted to him. He took me to his home in Benin, and the security man in his compound is a northerner. He has taken over the entire sponsorship of all his children to whatever level their brains could carry them. That is the kind of person he is. So I'm not surprised what he has been doing with his foundation over the years.
There was a time I told him that there are a lot of our young men, our cousins, who are not well-to-do their money. So I advised that we raise fund for them, give them small loans within the family. He said, okay, how much do we need? I told him. And we agreed on an amount that we pay. At the end of the day, he brought the money, we put it to open an account. And many of them are very happy today. Members of the family that have never met him. I just called him and he brought the money. We held a big family meeting. And we give it to them. So many other people that he doesn't even know.
Not a few professionals such as lawyers, medical doctors, among others have graduated from the university courtesy of Mercy Igbe-Arase Scholarship Foundation.
This scholarship we have just given now, Senator Ozamere just called me up and said one of his boys in this area whose mother died, suddenly, is a beneficiary, and that the boy was going to drop out of school. But suddenly they saw the scholarship something online, applied. I interviewed them online too, and that is a beneficiary of it. I said, but how will I have known that the mother? I don't know them. We just put it out there. But all we try to do is we try to say it is for indigent people.
He's a philanthropist. I know about. He started I know him from the Mercy Igbe-Arase Foundation, where. He started off, giving scholarship awards to people from the area where his mother hails from. And I know, through that foundation, he has trained a lot of lawyers. A lot of lawyers from the foundation have come here, actually in these chambers. So, this is where most of them do their NYC.
Not resting on his oars, Dr. Arase has again incorporated the Solomon Ehigiator Arase Foundation as another arm of his humanitarian and philanthropy projects.
He has now incorporated another one, that is the Solomon Ehigiator Arase Foundation, that is also going to be giving out scholarship awards, and is going to be doing a lot in terms of the area of the security architecture, beefing up the security architecture, helping the security architecture that currently obtains in Edo State.
Now, with Dr. Solomon Arase, there's hope for children of police officers who lost their lives fighting insurgency.
I am making a provision for children of police officers to also benefit, especially officers who lost their lives, maybe fighting crime or insurgency, and I know that they are bright. If they apply, I would want to incorporate them into it.
My boss, IGP Dr. Solomon Ehigiator Arase, he is known to be the first Inspector General of Police to project specific measurable policies that will advance the interest of the junior cadre of the force. He incorporated the Nigeria Police Property Development Company for the sole purpose of building affordable houses for the junior, with the focus being on the junior cadre. And he implemented it, what was had a market value of say 10-15 million. He was able to develop a model that was sold at less than 5 million to rank and file. Then he incorporated another company, the Nigeria Police Scholarship Scheme, with the main purpose of extending scholarship to children of junior cadre and diseased officers. And before he left, he was able to extend this scholarship to 300 children of officers across police secondary school, free.
That's not all. There's the yearly free medical checkup for the elderly.
He has also touched the lives of many people in the medical field as well. He's into the free medical checkup, especially for the elderly, and he does that on a yearly basis.
Every time in Ora, every February in Ora, the Ora people, they look forward to the medical, they look forward to the scholarship.
He's happy. He derives joy and satisfaction from serving humanity. He's expanding to accommodate more educational opportunities, not just in Owan West and Owan East. Dr. Solomon Arase is replicating this gesture in Edo South senatorial districts. He believes in the power of education, not just for improving the quality of life and for empowerment, but also deploying education to mitigate insecurity with citizens' engagement.
So it is that experience that we got from the Mercy Igbe, my mother's foundation, that encouraged me that I can also replicate the same thing where my father comes from, in southern Edo district. Yes. Along the line, we now said we were too elitist in our conception of the foundation, because we were relying on university education. So we now said, okay, why can't we now do some skill acquisition? So we now started bringing in the polytechnics and technical education schools to capture people like, people in building, people in engineering, people in hospitality industry from the polytechnics, then teachers especially. So that we have also started, bringing into the force.
And today, Dr. Solomon Arase is here to also complement the efforts of the state government. This maiden annual lecture series will commence with a discussion on the topic, Citizens' Inclusion in Security Management, the Edo State Model. There will be the donation of security items such as 50 motorbikes, a vehicle to coordinate, torchlights, among others, to local governments in Edo State Senatorial District. Also, checks will be presented to the first batch of the Solomon Ehigiator Arase Foundation Scholarship Foundation.
Issues of how you can use education to mitigate insecurity. So we'll be having a security summit where we'll be telling members of the public, the citizens, that the police alone cannot do it. Yes, it is true that by our constitution, section 14, they'll say, it is the responsibility of government to ensure that you have a safe and secure environment. But we also, in chapter 2 of that same constitution, it says citizens have an obligation to assist, law enforcement officers. How can we, assist the internal security? The government cannot do it alone. It's not possible. When you think about the things that government is doing, they are enormous. Roads, schools, hospitals. So how do you, where is the resources the resources are limited, so, and security is capital intensive. So you need, good spirited people to come out to say, can we buy torchlights and give to vigilante people, or can we buy whistle, or can we buy a motorbike so that they could patrol, their neighborhoods and see whatever information they have, they feed it into the policing system. We don't want to create, it's not duplicity. We don't want to create another police force. No. We want to create a group of men and women who can gather information and give to the law enforcement officers. That is what is done in other places. Okay, the lecture is going to be sensitization of the elites. Then we have about 50 motorbikes, and that we are going to donate. About 6 of us put it together. We are going to give them customized T-shirts, about 1,400. So the 7 local governments in Edo South, we have to 200. We do 200 berets. Then whistle, another 1,400. We give them raincoats. We give them torchlights. And we are hoping that with time, we can also assist in fueling those motorbikes for them. Because we will not want a situation where the motorbikes will now become a commercial bikes.
This gesture, rare from ex-public servants in the country, illustrates Solomon Arase's devotion to his fatherland and his willingness to deploy his experience and cultivated network in pursuit of a noble goal, one that is guaranteed to dial down tension and herald positive social outcomes, considering the established correlation between security, education, and productive engagement of youth talents and energy. He continues to set good examples, particularly for Nigerians' well-populated class of ex-servicemen and public servants, with the resources to cause an impact and real improvement in their immediate environments.